Hi there, my name is Norman, and as far as I can remember, I'd always wanted a family. There's just something about raising a child and teaching them everything that has always appealed to me. And so, I made sure that anyone that I became serious with also wanted kids as well, since it was very important to me. After college, I started looking for a partner, and as luck would have it, I found Maria. We met at a party that a mutual friend was throwing, and we hit it off right away. Everything just felt better when she was around. The air was sweeter, and I felt happier than I ever had before. We started dating soon after that, and for the first few months, things were a bit strained. Maria lived a few hours away by train, which made getting together for dates a bit difficult, but we made it work. We would call each other almost every day and talk for hours on the phone when we couldn't see each other. It wasn't the same, of course, but it was the next best thing. When we would see each other in person, she would always come and visit me as she lived in a small apartment with her brother. And she had always told me that it would be awkward to go and sleep at her place, knowing that her brother was in the next room. I didn't mind, of course, since I wasn't a fan of traveling, and if she wanted to come and see me, then all the better, really. This went on for a few months until I couldn't take spending so much time apart. With as much money as I could spare, I bought an engagement ring, and when she came into town again, I surprised her by taking her to our favorite restaurant. Halfway through the meal, I got down on one knee and proposed to her. She burst into tears on the spot and wouldn't stop crying. I was so confused. I had been sure that this would have gone so much better, and that she would have said yes, and so I tried to console her. Maria, my love, I don't understand. I thought that you wanted to marry me.
Oh, Norman, of course I do. But I have a secret that might make you angry.
What's the secret? Maria, what's wrong?
Last time I came to visit you, I went home and soon after began to be sick in the morning. And so I took a test and I'm pregnant.
But we've been using condoms. How did this happen?
I don't know, but I'm pregnant. One of them must have been defective.
Honestly, it's not ideal, but I've always wanted to be a father, so I'm actually really happy. So the question still stands. Will you marry me and start a family with me? She instantly stopped crying and was beaming from ear to ear with excitement.
Of course I will.
A few months later, we had a small ceremony and were married. We wanted to have it before Maria really started showing. Some months after that, she gave birth to our first child, a boy that we named Ben. Holding him in my arms, I felt truly happy. He was such a handsome little guy, although I was confused why he had such blonde hair, since both my wife and I had black hair. For that matter, there wasn't anyone in either of our families that had blonde hair, but I just chalked it up to someone in my family tree that I didn't know about having blonde hair. It could be a recessive gene. I remember watching Ben learn how to walk and then ride a bicycle. When he was around 2, Maria took a job that required her to travel. And for the first time in a few years, our relationship felt like it did when we first started dating and lived so far apart. Just as before, we made a point to constantly call one another, and when she was home, we made the most of our time together. Soon after she started her new job, she came and told me that she was once again pregnant. I couldn't believe it. Not only did I have my son, but now I would have a second child to help raise and to watch as they explored and discovered the world. I was elated at the thought of our family expanding. Sometime later, Maria gave birth to our second son, Patrick. He too had the same bright yellow blonde hair that his brother had, but once again, I just assumed that it was normal genetics. That is, until one day I heard a loud banging on my door.
Hey, Maria, open up. You have some explaining to do.
I rushed to the door and swung it open to see a man my age furiously standing in front of me. He was about my height and he had blonde hair. A pit began to form in the bottom of my stomach.
And who the hell are you?
Me? Who are you? And what do you want with my wife?
Wait a minute. What do you mean your wife?
Yes, Maria is my wife. Now what do you want?
Well then, I don't think you will want to hear this, but Maria is my girlfriend. We've been dating for almost 5 years.
I was floored. I didn't know how to respond.
Listen, I found out that she's been lying to me, and after meeting you, it all makes sense. She told me that she had lost both babies. But then I found out that she's been lying to me, and that she didn't have miscarriages.
It was hard to breathe suddenly, but I knew that he was speaking the truth. I led him inside and took him to speak to Maria, who was in the kitchen. I instantly knew that she had never lived with her brother, but had been living with Michael. That was why she never wanted me to go visit her when we were dating. Maria, what the hell has been going on? Is what this man saying true? Are our sons even my kids? The look of panic on Maria's face spoke volumes, but she didn't say anything. Michael began to scream at her about how hurt he felt once he found out that she had been lying all these years. For me, I just couldn't believe it. It was easier for me to go upstairs and quickly pack a bag and then leave and head to a hotel. I could sympathize with Michael feeling hurt, but I was devastated. There was a chance that my sons weren't even my kids. It felt like the one thing that I'd always wanted in life was being taken away from me. A few days later, we had a paternity test done, and just as I had feared, neither of my boys were mine. I should have known, but Maria had been so convincing. Once the truth came out, Maria finally opened up and told Michael and me the truth. She told us that she had always been dating both of us, but that she had only married me because I had more money. But then when she found out she was pregnant, she told Michael that she had lost the baby while she told me that it was mine. She knew that Michael would never be able to support her and her children financially the way that I could. So she kept the lie going even after she got pregnant the second time. Enraged, I filed for a divorce immediately and pushed to get sole custody of our sons. The judge heard our case, and upon hearing what Maria had been doing for years, agreed and even granted me sole ownership of the house that we lived in, along with granting me child support. After the settlement, I did ask Michael if he intended to sue me for custody of the boys since they were biologically his, but he told me that he wouldn't. I had been the only father that they had ever known, and he didn't want to disrupt their lives any more than what they already had been. He did beg me to allow him to be involved in their lives, and even offered to pay child support as well, as he wanted to help now. I accepted, of course, as it was the only truly fair thing to do. He was their father, and I felt that they had a right to know him, and he had a right to know them as well. That was a few years ago, and today Michael and I are best friends. He even moved into a house down the street from me. It was awkward at first, but our sons have adjusted to the idea of having two fathers very well, and it's helped so much. We've both even managed to find women that love us for who we are and accepted our unusual situation, and have expanded our odd little family as well. Last year, he had a daughter and my wife, and I had a son. As for Maria, well, she's tried more than once to get either of us to take her back. But neither of us is interested. I've heard that she had moved in with a guy she met online, and that they live in a small house on the edge of town. In order to pay for child support, she has to work 2 jobs, and every time I see her, she always looks tired and unhappy. Every time I feel bad for her though, I'm reminded of what she did to Michael and me, and I can't help but feel that she got what she deserved. Thanks for watching. Like the video for the algorithm.